What is up? What is up, my friends in the Underground 4? It is Monday. You know what that means? Monday starts with an M. You know what else starts with an M? MMA. It's my Underground Knee version of my podcast, The Underground Knee, my MMA show. It was a weekend with no fights. You know, it sucks, especially being spoiled with having 3 fights. No, 3 fight cards last week. But hey, we were spoiled with 3 weeks worth of fights in a week, and so it's good to have a week off. I went into this podcast, at the end of after last Monday, I went in this podcast being like, oh no, I'm not gonna have anything to talk about on next week's episode because there's no fights this week. But Dana White promised that he'd have a matchmaking a meeting last Tuesday, 6 days ago. Today is Monday, the 25th, and Dana White actually made some stuff happen. Shout out to Dana White. But yeah, there's no fights this week. It's always weird not having fights because so it's always weird, especially now because there's no other sports to watch. At least back in the day, I think right now would be like watching the Western Conference Finals, watching the Conference Finals, watching the Stanley Cup Finals. We're chugging through baseball. Hey, what happens, happens. And here we stand. It is May 25th, and there are no sports on except soccer. That's always a disappointment. I seriously don't understand how people can be so optimistic about watching soccer. It doesn't make any sense. The final score in most games are 2-0, 2-1 sometimes if you're lucky. Each team will score a goal. The only thing cool about soccer is the cool celebrations they do, and plus they're rich. So, but it's only because of the big markets on the other side of the oceans that makes soccer so big, I think. Because it's not very big over here, especially in the United States. It's getting to a point, man. I think that mixed martial arts is getting up there with popularity to soccer in the United States. Getting close, at least. Conor McGregor's hanging out with Cristiano Ronaldo. Conor McGregor's friends with Ronaldo. They're right there. This thing finally loaded. No, not results. Not results. That's not what I want. Not what I want. Not what I want. But yeah. So as I was saying earlier, Dana White promised at the end of one of the fights last week that last Tuesday he was gonna have a matchmaking meeting, so they can get some fights going. I didn't have very many expectations. I didn't expect him to get anything done. I didn't expect us to have real fights till the 6th, which in hindsight is only like 12 days away. But regardless, Dana White made things happen. May 30th, it's this Saturday. Yeah, that's this Saturday? Oh, sweet. This Saturday, we got an awesome welterweight matchup at 170. Tyron Woolley fighting Gilbert Burns. If you don't know me, like a lot of people do who know my MMA fandom, you'll know that I'm not a fan of Tyron Woolley. I think that he's a boring fighter, and he's, not as good as he may. I feel like he's one of those people who makes himself out to be better than people than he actually is. He beat Robbie Lawler, but ever since that fight with Tyron Woodley, Robbie Lawler has not been the same. So that could have been, the last of the greatness. I think that was his first. I'm checking it right now. I think that was his first defense since that fight against Rory. Or no, he had another fight. It was a split decision. But yeah, so he had that awesome, crazy win against Rory, in my opinion, the greatest fight of all time. He had that awesome fight against Rory, and then he came back. And then he came back a little less than 6 months later and fought Carlos Condit to a split decision. And that's like a Carlos Condit who's kind of old at this point, man. It was a split decision. He barely came out with it. And then he fights Tyron Woodley, the number 1 contender in Atlanta. And, Tyron knocks him out with, one swift punch. I think that that Rory fight was the end of his of Robbie Lawler's reign on everybody. 'Cause since then, he beat Condit in a split decision, which, I mean, with all due respect to Carlos Condit, he's a legend of the game, but at this stage in his career, man, he's just a name that people throw out there to win. Especially, if Michael Chiesa beats you, man, I think it's time to hang it up. Shout out to Carlos Condit. He's a legend of the game. Future UFC Hall of Famer. It's not a bad win. It's not a bad win for Robbie to when that happened. It's just, Carlos was obviously past his prime at that time, and that was his last chance at a belt. And it was a split decision. He won on one scorecard, but I feel like that was the last for both of them. Last hurrah. Because since then, Robbie's lost to Tyron Woolley. He beat Don Cerrone in a UD. But it's another thing, man. Don Cerrone's an older dude. Robbie Lawler's older dude. He beat him in a unanimous decision. And then, I actually remember this fight. I was watching it. This was the day I went and saw Star Wars. He lost to Rafael Dos Anjos. He got obliterated that fight. It was that fight that I thought Dos Anjos was going to be a 170 champ one day, but since then he's fallen off heavy. He lost to Michael Chiesa, and like I said earlier, man, if you lose Michael Chiesa, it's probably time for you to hang it up. And then he lost a Ben Askren, which we all know how that is, but then he got absolutely obliterated. Most one-sided fight I've ever seen in my life by Colby Covington. I think that Tyron Woodley won that belt. I think that Tyron Woodley won that belt because he capitalized on an opportunity at an old champ. Because a Tyron Woodley, since then, I mean, sure, he beat Stephen Thompson twice, or he only beat him once. It was a draw the first time, but, whatever. I hated that fight. I don't care. I did not like that fight. So, 2 fights with Stephen Thompson. Then he beat Damian Maia. Damian Maia is also 40 years old. It was the worst fight of all time. Then he beat Darren Till. That was an impressive win. But I think that was at the point that Darren Till got rushed in a little bit too quick. I think he got that title shot off beating. Oh no, he got that title shot off a missing weight and beating Stephen Thompson in that awesome fight that didn't really live up to the hype. Yeah, and then the fight against Kamari Usman, that was the most one-sided. I think that's the most one-sided fight I've personally ever seen in my life. I was watching that fight, and I was pulling for Kamari, who will actually be brought up later in this podcast for some odd reasons. But it was an awesome performance by him, and Tyron Woodley just didn't look there. I'm not a fan of him. But, I know when I can see, how he's doing, and he just wasn't there. I think that if they fight again, I don't think Usman's very good. I'll be honest. I'll be the first to say it. I think that he's just a bigger dude at 170. I think that he's just a big 170 pounder, and so, he's obviously a good fighter. He's a champ. I think that it's a combination of him being a good fighter and him just being bigger than everybody, because especially against Colby Covington, dude, he looked huge, man. I don't think that Kamaru has the belt very much longer. Whether it's Conor or Masvidal, I don't think he wins either of them. Well, I don't know. That's actually a tough one. I take that back. That's a tough one. I'm not sure about that. But yeah, so we got Tyron Woodley fighting Gilbert Burns on Saturday. Gilbert Burns is running up the ladder of the UFC welterweight rankings. He's on a 5-fight win streak against. He's got some decent names there. His last fight, he lost to Dan Hooker. Not his last fight. His last loss, he lost to Dan Hooker in 2018. That was at 155, and since he's come back to 170, he beat Alexei Kunchenko, and then he beat Gunnar Nelson, and then he knocked out Damian Maia in for the first round in the same card as Kevin Lee and Charles Oliveira. I mean, obviously it's Damian Maia. I think Damian Maia was talking about retiring after that fight. So, it's not as good of a win, but it's a big name for him to climb up in the rankings. I think Tyron Woodley will win this fight, just for the sole reason that I don't know how good Gilbert Burns is striking is compared, because Tyron Woodley's he's not a joke when it comes to striking. No, he's obviously a D1 All-American. I think he went to Missouri. Yeah, Tyron Woodley went to Missouri. And so Tyron Woodley's obviously good on the ground, but I think Gilbert Burns is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so it's always pretty interesting to see how the jiu-jitsu and wrestler combinations go down. But I think that although those may be a little bit even, kinda, I think that that Tyron Woodley's striking will eventually help him win, will eventually help him win that fight in a I'm gonna call it right now a super boring decision, 49-46 across all cards. Tyron Woodley wins. The rest of the card is and for being honest, I think that the prelims might be a little bit better than the main card. You got Blagoy Ivanov fighting Augusto Saki. I don't even know who that is. Blagoy Ivanov is going to win that fight, probably. In his UFC debut, he fought Junior Dos Santos, so the UFC is obviously high on him. He's obviously a good fighter. Kevin Holland, I remember watching one of his fights. Who did he? I think he just fought, didn't he? Hang on. Oh, wait. Never mind, I can just click that here. Oh, this is one of the Contender Series dudes? Oh, yeah. This is the guy who knocked out Anthony Hernandez. That was jeez. The guy's getting back in there after 2 weeks off. Shout out to Kevin Holland, man. That's awesome. That is awesome. I love it when fighters do that. When they get when they don't take time off like that. He fought on the card with Alistair Overeem and Walt Harris, and now he's fighting again 14 days, 2 weeks later. Sure, that fight was 39 seconds long, but no, I gotta think about the process of all that weight, cutting the weight, and then bulking up. And now he's got to cut it all back. I mean, but at the same time, he's obviously in good shape. And he's probably gonna stay in good shape because it's 2 weeks later. He probably took that fight like 5 days after that fight. So he's getting right back in it. A shout out to Kevin Holland. I hope he wins that fight. Who's he fighting? Oh, come on. Sorry, his computer's slow. I need to get a new one. Fighting Daniel Rodriguez. I don't even know who that is. Brock Weaver, Roosevelt Roberts. I think Brock Weaver's one of the. What's the word? Contender Series dudes. Yep, I remember this dude. Oh, this is the guy who wore the thing in card in Albuquerque, isn't it? Oh yeah, and he was all mad because it was a disqualification win for him. Felt he didn't win. I don't even really remember that fight, but Brock Weaver does have a good name, and that should be a good fight. He's entertaining. Mackenzie Dern, Hannah Cyphers. Mackenzie Dern's one of the most highly touted. I think that's 25, isn't it? No, it's 15. Yeah, she's one of the most highly touted 115 pounders in the UFC's strawweight division. That's if she even makes the weight. She struggles with the weight cut every single time. So hopefully she can make weight this time. Yeah, she's an entertaining fighter. I think that she'll come out with that. She's fun to watch. She's a fan favorite for some reasons more than others. But let's see how it happens. This is a little surprising. We got Caitlin Chukagian versus Antonina Shevchenko. If you don't know, that is Valentina's little sister. And if you don't know, again, I only know because I went to this fight. Caitlin Chukagian just fought Valentina for the belt February 8th UFC 247 in Houston, and now she's fighting another Shevchenko, which, I'm obviously not a UFC fighter. I'm not a UFC coach. I don't work for the UFC. I don't know. I don't know anything about how matchmaking works. But if I'm Chukagian, I am not. After that absolute obliteration that just happened to me, I am not taking that fight against another Shevchenko because Valentina's little sister's obviously not good as Valentina. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Valentina's in my eyes, she won the second fight with Amanda Nunes. In my eyes, she's the best best women's mixed martial artist of all time. But if I'm Chukagian, I'm not taking a fight against the sister of the girl who just destroyed me and embarrassed me. I'm in the co-main event of a John Jones event. It doesn't make sense to me. I think that Anthony Shevchenko will win that fight. I don't think that she's the better fighter. I just think that, she's got her sister. Her sister's probably going to be in her corner. She's got her sister. Her sister's going to tell her all the stuff that her genius brain picks. And Valentina's awesome. And I'm not Chukagian. When I went and saw her fight, it was the most one-sided fight I've ever seen in my life. When the fight was finally over, I was happy because it's kind of bad to watch. It was just watching, it was like watching, I'm trying to think of something funny. It was like watching a dog eat a treat. Like, it was just like, all right, yep, the dog just destroyed it. Obviously, what do we expect? Next, we got Spark Carlisle, Billy Corntilio, don't know who that is. Clinton Abreu, Jamal Hill. I know who Hill is. And then, this fight's on the prelims. We got Tim Elliott. You got Tim Elliott, the Ultimate Fighter. What season is that? 23. Ultimate Fighter season 23 champ. Tim Elliott won the Ultimate Fighter, and then he went and fought Demetrius Johnson. He obviously lost, but it was a promising showing. I was impressed. Shout out to Tim Elliott. Since then he's become a pretty odd fighter. He's got a mullet now. That's one thing. And then it's actually pretty interesting to watch. He's fun to watch. He's a fan favorite because he's on the Ultimate Fighter. I think one thing about the Ultimate Fighter is that if you're a fan of the Ultimate Fighter, you always will remember who won what season, and you'll always tune in to watch their fights just because it's so interesting. I am not a fan of the Ultimate Fighter. I hope they don't bring it back. I think it's bad on all of them, having all 16 people live in one house and then having them, cut weight 3 separate times, fight 3 separate times in a short amount of time. I mean, it's obviously possible, but, the person who comes out and goes to the finals, even if the finals are a couple months after, they're not going to leave the same person, man. They're going to be damaged and bruised, and they're going to have to take time to recover. So then it's a shorter training camp, a lesser training camp. I'm really big on the Contender Series. Who have we gotten from there? Sean O'Malley, Brock Weaver, Greg Hardy. We should have had Mr. Van Zandt. Shout out to Austin Vanderford in the UFC. I thought he should have got in, but it's not my job to do that. Who else was on there? I think little Shevchenko got on there from there. Yeah, she did. And what's the one? And Greg Hardy. Yeah, Greg Hardy had 2 fights there because she didn't want to rush into him. But yeah, I'm a fan of the Ultimate Fighter. But I'm really huge on the Contender Series. I think it's awesome for all the fighters. It's a good way to showcase their skills, and it's on a Tuesday. You get 5 live fights on a Tuesday, even if they are smaller names. They're entertaining because they're people fighting for a job, and they're fighting for their dreams. So these people are going all out. I love it. Next we got Casey Kenny Lewis Smolka. Smolka rings a bell. I'm pretty sure he was. I don't know if he still is good at 135. I don't know why there's some decent names on these prelims. We got Caitlin Chukagian and Tim Elliott, Lewis Smolka, on the main card we just got, Tyron Woolley, Gilbert Burns. That's an awesome main card. That's an awesome main event. Awesome main event. That's I'm sure it's gonna be a good fight, hopefully. And then after that, it's kind of just, that's the worst, man. When you have to sneeze and then you try and hold it in and then you start tearing up, and then you got to cough. Jeez, see, that's exactly what happens every single time. Allergies, man. Pollen's killing me, especially cutting grass lately. That's killing me. And we got Chris Gutierrez, Vince Morales on that card. But that's all. That's the card coming up this Saturday, May 30th. I think it's on ESPN. It should be a good card. I'm excited. Another big event that got announced, or it didn't really get announced, but it kind of got officialed. Is at the UFC Apex. We got another pay-per-view. We got Amanda Nunes is headlining against Felicia Spencer. I obviously respect Amanda Nunes, but she's not a promoter. Felicia Spencer, unless you're a huge fan, you don't know who this is. No, nobody's gonna buy this pay-per-view. If the headliner is somebody who you have no idea who it is. Especially because it's just a lopsided matchup. You have the greatest of all time and Felicia Spencer. It doesn't make sense. If I was the UFC, I'd make this card on ESPN. They're just gonna lose a lot of money, I think, because there's no way that this gets over 150,000 buys. That's my line. That's my line. And the only reason I'm that high is because there's no sports going on. If there was sports going on, if the NBA Finals or Stanley Cup playoffs or Major League Baseball is going on, this is going underneath 100K. The UFC wouldn't even put out a card like this on pay-per-view if there was other sports going on. But since there's no sports on, the UFC's like, all right, I can get away with this because people need their entertainment. People want to watch fights. Fights are entertaining. I think Amanda Nunes wins that fight, But she's either going to finish it early in the first or second round, or she's going to 50-40 her, cross all cards, absolute domination. Amanda Nunes and Valentina are the two greatest of all time. I think Amanda Nunes won the first fight, Valentina won the second fight. I'm not going to argue. That is the truth. Here's my main event, man. My main event is Cody Garbrandt, Rafael Assunção. Cody Garbrandt is, I just got a thing for, if your name's Cody and you're a 135er, you're awesome, man. Cody Stamann, Cody Garbrandt. I'll throw in Corey Sandhagen because he's only one letter off, but Corey Sandhagen's awesome. He's on his card. I'll get to that. I think that, this is make or break for Cody Garbrandt right here. Cody Garbrandt was a champ. He was 11-0. He just beat Dominic Cruz in my eyes, the most flawless performance of all time. Cody Garbrandt put on an absolute clinic against Dominic Cruz. Cody Garbrandt did to Dominic Cruz what Dominic Cruz does to others, and Dominic Cruz had no idea what was going on. I think this is make or break for Cody. He's on a 3-fight lose. I don't think he'll get released, but his name's already going down, man. And it's tough to see because he's an awesome fighter. He's an awesome fighter. The only thing about Cody is he gets too excited. He thinks that he's a phenomenal. Cody does have a ton of power, but it's just his fight IQ is low. And I hope that he can have a performance like he had against Dominic Cruz against Assunção. Because if he does, I think that he's right back in there, top 3. In my eyes, Cody Garbrandt is the best 135er, especially now that Cejudo's gone, especially now that another thing, TJ was on steroids. TJ was all juiced up for both those fights. I think that those fights should be taken off of Cody's loss record. I want to see them run it back because I think Cody's a better fighter. He had him rocked in the first round, but here comes TJ. What's his nickname? Snake Dillashaw. He's just trying to give himself an up. no, I do respect that he came out and said, before anybody, hears differently, I want you guys to hear from me. I completely take responsibility for himself. I appreciate that. Let's respect the TJ. But, in my eyes, if you're gone for 2 years, I don't think TJ will ever be the same. I don't think they'll ever be a champ again. But that's just me. I think he's supposed to come back January of next year. Yeah. And it's really tough for him, too. And that's a long suspension in the heat of his career. TJ was on top. He obviously lost to Cejudo in that fight. I thought it was a fine stoppage, but, it's just me. But, TJ still had the 135 belt. They're talking about, getting him versus Cejudo again. That fight's not going to sell well. It's not going to sell well, but, it's a good fight for diehard fans. I was looking forward to that fight, but then, he had to cheat, and there he goes. Then we got Charles Byrd. I think he's a Contender Series guy. Good for him. Gerald Meerschaert versus Ian Heinisch. I think Heinisch was the one who got knocked out without moving, without really even getting hit. He's they're swinging back and forth. He's barely even getting hit. He's ducking half these punches. I remember, that was on the UFC Norfolk card, and the ref stops it. I thought that was bad, and I would hate if that happened to me, man, because then I would just got guilt in the back of my head, all right, no, I don't care if they take this loss off my record. I could have lost this fight, man. So it got stopped. That's just how it is. But it's good to see that because of that fight, he's getting a big name in Gerald Meerschaert. And hopefully Heinisch can get something going again. It's tough when you lose a fight like that. As we got Formiga and Alex Perez. Juicy Formiga's good. Devin Clark versus Alonzo Mainfield. Good fight. Neil Magny. I think Neil Magny's overrated. He'll never be anything. Who's he fighting? I don't even know what Anthony Rocco Martin is, man. Hopefully Neil Magny can win that fight. If not, then why is he even fighting at this point? I didn't know what these were on the cards, man. Dude, that's on this card? Yeah, Corey Sandhagen, Aljamain Sterling. That is the fight to make. That is, this is the first time that the UFC's actually done something that makes sense towards the rankings. I think Sandhagen and Sterling are what? 3-4, 2-3, 2-4, something like that. This fight makes sense from all standpoints. I was listening to, who was talking? Oh, yeah. It was Cejudo. He was saying, they should do a 4-man bracket. He said Jan, Sandhagen, Sterling, and he was kind of, what's the word? I wasn't sold on who should be the fourth, but I think if Cody Garbrandt can handle things quick on, in 2 weeks, I think that he's that fourth. Or Marlon Moraes. It makes sense. Oh yeah, Sterling's 2, Sandhagen's 4, Jan's 3. Honestly, I actually just have Moraes fight Jan, and then the winners fight each other. That fight makes the most sense to me. That makes the most sense to me. Just have 2-4, 3-1, and then the winners fight. Winners fight for the vacant belt. There's no champ anymore. That sucks, man. There's no champ in flyweight or bantamweight. But I think it's July 13th or something like that. July 27th or something like that. Figueiredo is fighting Joseph Benavidez. There's some mixed thoughts on that. I don't think it makes sense. A Figueiredo beat him. I say match him up with Brandon Moreno or Kai Kara France, another top contender. Joseph just got his chance. He was the only one who had a chance, and in hindsight, he blew it. He lost to a guy who couldn't even win the belt, which, that's obviously going to be a different kind of tough. The bantamweight's awesome right now, man. We got we have Moraes, Sterling, Jan, Sandhagen, Asuncao, Jose Aldo if he stays, Pedro Munoz, Jimmy Rivera, Cody Garbrandt, Rob Font, Dominic Cruz is back, man. Cody Staman's a beast. John Dodson's a beast. Song Yadong's a beast. Marlon Vera's a beast. The entire top 15 at 135 is stacked. That might be the best division in the UFC. Actually, it's the second best division. Lightweight blows them out of the water. But 135 is awesome. And Sean O'Malley's there. He's not even ranked. Which leads me to the next thing. Dude, what is in my throat? Oh. We got the Sugar Show on this card. Sean O'Malley's fighting Eddie Wineland. Wineland's obviously washed up. Sean's obviously a newcomer, but Sean doesn't want to get pushed like Darren Till got pushed. Darren Till, as soon as he got a big fight, he beat Cowboy. Awesome win for him. Hats off to him. But then they threw him in against Stephen Thompson. He won that fight. Kudos to him. But I see that it went too fast from and nobody knows who Darren Till is to Cowboy to Stephen Thompson to Tyron Woolley for the belt. Didn't make sense. And Sean O'Malley even told Dana White, he's like, hey, I don't want to get pushed like he did. I just want to take it slow, build myself up, and get reps against these top guys, which I fully respect Sean for. He doesn't want to. He's 10-0. He's never lost, and he doesn't want to ruin his perfect record over a fight that doesn't make sense. I think taking this fight against a legend in Wineland is a good matchup for him. I think Sean wins this fight first round knockout again, and hopefully after that, he'll be ranked top 15, and then he can get some top 15 competition. Hopefully he can build himself up. Maybe go top 15, top 10, top 5. Boom, title for the formal fights if he wins them all, title shot. That makes the most sense to me. I think Sean O'Malley will be a champ there one day. He's awesome, man. And then we got the young guy, the young Askren GOAT. Chase Hooper fighting Alex Caceres. Alex Caceres is 15-12, man. Chase Hooper is 20 years old? And he looks like me. I don't know if you guys don't know what I look like. Imagine a cinnamon stick from the Apple Jacks commercial. That's kind of what I look like. Chase Hooper looks just like me. But, he's a UFC fighter, and I am the host of a podcast about the UFC and other things, but I do this on Mondays when I get bored. I hope Chase Hooper wins this fight. It's an awesome matchup for him. Alex Caceres is a decent name. Chase Hooper's built himself up as a decent name just because of the joke that him and Ben Askren have on Twitter, calling each other father and son. I hope Chase Hooper wins this fight. He's awesome. He's a great personality. He's great. He's fun to watch, man. It's so crazy. This dude's 20 years old and he's doing all this. He's built himself up as a great name. Shout out to Chase Hooper. But yeah, that's what we got for these next two coming cards. There's a couple other cards that have gotten fights. Dustin Poirier got a fight against Dan Hooker. That fight makes sense too, man. I think that's 2-5 going at it. I hope Dustin Poirier wins that fight. I hope he wins that fight, man. If Conor doesn't get a date with Usman, which we'll talk about next, I hope that what's his name? I'm a drawing blank now. Oh yeah, I hope that Dustin fights Conor again. I would love that fight, man. I would love to see that fight at this point in both their careers. That's only if Conor doesn't get a fight against Usman, which I'll get to next. And that's only if Dustin Poirier beats Hooker. I think he destroys Hooker. But, it's just me. I'm a Dustin Poirier slappy. I like Dan Hooker. He's a good fighter, but I think Dustin Poirier has a lot of levels to his game. I think he's going to beat him easily. On the June 13th card, on the June 13th card, we got Cynthia Calvillo. Oh, where'd that go? Oh no. Where'd that go? Where did this go? Oh, there it is. June 13th card, we have Cynthia Calvillo versus Jessica Ai, headlining a fight night. I want to talk about the worst main event in UFC history? Let's talk about that one. This is a prelim fight, and it's headlining a UFC card. But, it's just good building on a name by Dana White, man. He knows that people are desperate to watch fights, so he's like, all right, I'll throw out a random fight. People will watch it because we want to see fights. But for both these girls, it's an awesome opportunity to win. It's a 5-round main event. And whoever wins this fight is going to get a ton of name, and then they can build themselves up from there. I'm a big fan of Cynthia Calvillo. She trains out of Team Alpha Male in Sacktown. I hope she wins that fight. She's awesome. Shout out to Cynthia Calvillo. But, the main thing that I wanted to get by is there are rumors that Masvidal wants Diaz. And if that is to happen, which it doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense whatsoever to me, but I'm not complaining. Because if that happens, Kamari Usman's management says they want Conor McGregor next. Usman versus McGregor, sign me up, man. Sign me up. I think this is the applause button. Nope. Woo, yeah. That's gonna be me in my living room cheering for Conor right there. Alright. You guys are done with that. That's an awesome fight. It's a tough fight for Conor, but I think if Conor's I think what Conor showed is that when he's focused, he's the best fighter in the world. Conor was focused. He was focused all the way up until that second Nate Diaz fight. After that second Nate Diaz fight, it was downhill. He's back. That fight makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense to me. But if it gives Conor a belt in 145, 155, and 170, I'm all for it. Conor would then, I don't think he'd be the first to do that, but he'd be up there with I think BJ Penn's done it or something like that. Which obviously BJ Penn's not a big name anymore, but back in the day, dude's a beast. Which Conor McGregor is. So yeah, it's an awesome fight. It'd be interesting, to be honest. I think that Kamari Usman's a lot bigger than him. Conor's obviously a 145er. He almost killed himself to make 145. But I think Usman is a lot bigger than him. I think Usman's got more tools to win the fight, but I don't think that he will win the fight. No, I don't think he's ever been... No, I mean, with all due respect, Kamari Usman got rocked by Colby Covington. I love Colby Covington, but he has no power in his hands whatsoever. No, Colby Covington couldn't knock me out. Colby's just got an awesome pace, and he never quits. So, I think, one left from Conor, and Marty Usman's going down. I think Conor will win that fight. I think he can win that fight, and I think he will win that fight. People are going to think about, what about Kamari's D1 wrestling experience? Who's a better wrestler, a Khabib or Kamari Usman? And you think that Conor hasn't gotten better at wrestling since that Khabib fight? I think that Conor fighting Khabib didn't make him a better wrestler? And you think that Khabib's wrestling matches up with Kamari Usman's? No way. Obviously, Conor got taken down by Khabib. Who hasn't got taken down by Khabib? But I think that fight makes Conor realize, all right, if I want to beat Khabib, I got to wrestle a lot more. I got to do a lot more jiu-jitsu. I got to do a lot more groundwork. I guarantee right now, as we speak, I don't know what time it is in Ireland, if he's even there. But it's 9:54 in the morning in Vegas, if that's where he's at. I guarantee he's rolling around with Dylan Dennis right now. He's learning things from the GOAT Dylan Dennis. Shout out to Dylan Dennis. I think that Conor's wrestling is going to be a lot better next time around. He didn't even need the wrestler against Cowboy. That's another thing that people were saying. Cowboy's going to take him down. Cowboy was not ever going to take him down. Cowboy wanted to brawl. Conor made it seem like it was going to be a brawl, but Conor knew, I'll play some mind games with this guy. And as soon as anything happened, all Conor did was just one shoulder strike, broke his nose, absolutely destroyed Cowboy. He was bleeding everywhere. what Conor did was play a mind game on Cowboy to think that he's going to get into a huge brawl. But really, Conor just wanted to put him away quick so he can get right back in it. Sure, I mean, it's not really his fault, with the way that this world is happening right now. I think that Conor Masvidal is the better fight to make. I think that fight sells more than Nate Conor 3 right now. But if that's not what Masvidal wants, if Masvidal wants Nate again, which makes no sense to me, he absolutely destroyed him. One-sided fight, barely competitive. I think that Masvidal should fight Conor, or he should fight Usman. I think that Conor should fight Dustin, which Dustin's booked now. Nate, who knows, or Masvidal. I think Usman's 4. Tony's 5, Khabib's 6. I think that's the lineup for Conor. I think that's the lineup for Usman, I think that's the lineup for Masvidal. I mean, I'd love to see Conor fight Masvidal on July 4th, dude. That would be one of the best nights of my life, dude. It's always a party when Conor gets going. That's a fact. So yeah, if that fight happens, man, I would just be confused. Because I was working yesterday, worked 12 to 9, I wasn't on my phone. And then, at 9:30 when I finally get off, I check my phone. And I just keep saying, blah, blah, blah. Conor would knock out Usman, blah, blah, blah. All Usman's going to do is take him down. I'm like, dude, what are these people talking about? Go on Twitter. I type in Conor McGregor. I see he's trending. I'm like, dude, what? Turns out there's rumors that he's going to fight Usman. I'm like, dude, what? How's this even make any sense? It definitely makes no sense. Conor's got one win at 170 against a 155-pounder. I mean, I'm not complaining, but it doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, shout out to Conor, shout out to, no shout out to Usman. And then, July 11th, we got Paige Van Zandt's coming back for the last fight on her, contract. I don't think she stays, she's done with fighting, man. I doubt she even makes it to this fight. She's gonna break her wrist again. She's going to pull out of the fight, and she hasn't fought in so long, too. And Frankie Edgar, Pedro Munez on that card. There are some good fights going on right now, man. Shout out to the UFC for putting all this together. I think Amanda Ribas is going to destroy Paige Van Zandt. Oh, no, our last fight, her last fight before this was going to be a year and a half between her last fight and this next fight coming up, and she beat Ostovich with an armbar. I think Amanda Ribas is gonna destroy her, but Paige Van Zandt's not a good fighter, but people love her. So I mean, that's just what happens. She has some good wins, man. Felice Herrig, Shasta Rose, Beck Rawlings, Michelle Watterson, Rachel Ostovich, and that's just in the UFC. She has some. Yeah, there's no way she even makes it to this fight. She's done fighting after this. She's awesome, but she's done. There's no reason for her to fight anymore. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so there's some good stuff in the UFC this week, man. For a week with no fights, there's obviously a lot to talk about. We're 43 minutes and going right now. For a week with no fights, that's awesome. I love doing this. Yeah, like I said, Saturday we got Tyron Woolley and Gilbert Burns. I think that the winner of that. Let's see, where's 170 is crazy right now, man. I think Masvidal deserves a title shot, but I don't know if he's going to take it. I think that he's bigger than titles at this point. I don't think he wants a title. I mean, he does. Who doesn't? But, I think that he's bigger than titles. So, if Masvidal fights Diaz or Conor next, I think that the winner of this fight here, Gilbert Burns and Tyron Woolley, the winner should get the next shot at Usman if Usman doesn't fight Conor or Jorge, Masvidal. I don't think Tyron Woolley would really deserve a shot, but I mean, hey, I think that of all people, I think Leon Edwards deserves a shot. It's just nobody wants to fight him. Sure, he was supposed to fight Woodley, I know that, but take Edwards, measure my allergies, bro. Oh my god. Oh. I think that take Woodley if he wins this fight. I think that whoever wins this fight should fight Colby. Winner should fight Usman or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a matchmaker. I'm not a matchmaker for this reason. No, because there's so much waiting, and does this person want to take this much time off? Does this person want to get right back at it? It just depends on how the fights go. But yeah. So it was an awesome week for fight news. We got some good fights lined up for the summer. Shout out to the UFC. Shout out to Dana White. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy. Everybody's doing a great job. And I think that's all we got for today. Thank you. I know. Yeah, we're all set for today. Gilbert Burns, Tyron Woolley is guys coming week. Everybody stay cool, stay calm, stay collected, and have a great week. Later.